Kami-tachi ni Hirowareta Otoko tells the story of a 39-year-old office worker. One day, the main character wakes up and finds himself in a strange room. Initially, he feels confused, but someone says that he has died and he will be reincarnated into the isekai with overwhelming power. With his new life, the main character decides to live in a forest and work to fulfill his daily needs. The story begins with the life of an office worker named Ryoma Tatebayashi, who works and gets scolded by his boss every day. After living in such an environment for a long time, Ryoma dies. However, the gods consisting of the goddess of love named Leloucia, the god of life named Kufo, and the god of creation named Gain give him a second chance by reincarnating Ryoma into the body of an 8-year-old child and endowing him with overpowered stats and abilities. The scene then moves to Ryoma, who wakes up from his sleep with the slimes from his experiments. He already lives independently by relying on these slimes. They are sticky slime, which can produce threads, acid slime, which can produce bones, poison slime, which has immunity to poisons, cleaner slime, which can clean furniture, and scavenger slime, which can eat trash or dirt. He lives independently without the help of his parents. That's why Ryoma is always busy working and decides to live alone in the forest while making research on the slimes. The scene switches to Ryoma, who is walking around the forest. Ryoma accidentally sees the knights, who are confused because their comrades are injured. Ryoma offers to help them, but he gets suspected because it doesn't make sense for a kid to play in the middle of the forest. However, after showing a bottle of poison, the knights immediately understand and are happy to receive help from Ryoma. Ryoma is also willing to take them to rest at his house. While walking, the knights are still confused about Ryoma's true origins. Moreover, he can control many slimes at the same time. They are also more surprised when they find out that Ryoma lives alone in the middle of a forest. First of all, Ryoma introduces himself, followed by the knights named Kenil, Huif, Zeph, Jill, and led by a nobleman named Reinhard Jumnil. However, because Ryoma cannot tell the truth that he is a reincarnator, he makes up a story that he used to live with his grandparents. Kenil then takes out a crystal to check Ryoma's stats and his crime record. They are surprised at Ryoma's status, which is considered unnatural for a child of his age. Therefore, as a form of gratitude, Reinhard will temporarily return to his residence to discuss this matter with his family. The scene moves to Ryoma's past, where he seems so calm when the gods tell him that he is dead. The sobriety resulted solely from the overpressure of his work. However, the gods told him that he died falling from the bed. It surprised him because he had experienced things that were harder than that. But when the gods explained that he would be reincarnated into a world that uses magic, his interest seemed to reappear, and here Ryoma's life would begin. The scene switches to Ryoma, who is relaxing in the middle of his bunch of slimes. Unexpectedly came a group of knights from yesterday, as well as a beautiful girl the same age as Ryoma named Eli. The girl was also accompanied by her family, starting from her grandfather named Rienbach Jemmel, her mother named Elise, and several servants. Her grandfather is quite surprised to see that Ryoma has many slimes, especially when he finds out that Ryoma can combine the same type of slime into a big slime, which is a monster that has yet to be tamed. Because it is impolite to talk outside, they get to move inside, and without further ado, Reinhard immediately presents a clock as a form of appreciation for his aid the other day. He also explains that he has another purpose where he wants to find a slime so his daughter could tame it. But before that, Eli wants to ask Ryoma to teach her the various kinds of slimes and their strengths. Ryoma then suggests 2 slimes, scavenger slime and cleaner slime, as we know that scavenger slime has the ability to eat trash, which if it reaches the real world, then it will be very helpful in dealing with the plastic waste, which is currently increasingly destroying nature. Ryoma then promotes the ability of cleaner slime, which can clean goblin stains, or what is known as the dirtiest stain in the world. Finally, Eli and his guards set off to hunt for cleaner slime, and when it is late in the afternoon, Eli returns and brings a slime that had become her target. When they get inside, suddenly Elise asks Ryoma what his plans are for the future, and if he doesn't mind, they want to take him to the capital. Ryoma, who has been in his comfort zone for 3 years, is a bit scared when he hears things about the outside world. But Eli tries to convince him that there are many things out there that he will meet later, and it finally arouses Ryoma's curiosity. That night, Ryoma starts packing by putting his belongings into the storage dimension, and he also says goodbye to the gods who have been watching over him all this time. The next day, Ryoma's first adventure begins. While waiting to arrive at the destination, Ryoma, who has no experience in the outside world, casually says that right now he is studying alchemy magic, or is the rarest magic at the moment. It makes Eli and the others amazed with him. But in the middle of the journey, their journey has to be stopped by an avalanche that covers the only road. Ryoma, who sees this happening, immediately intends to come down to help. First, so that his body would not get wet, Ryoma immediately takes out a raincoat he created, and Rienbach, who has never seen this innovation before, suddenly gets an idea for a new business. Ryoma then uses a combined magic, where the magic makes a landslide into several blocks like bricks, and he is assisted by the slimes he has. Finally, it doesn't take long for the road to be traversed. Long story short, Ryoma and Jimo's family arrive at the destination. Ryoma then puts his things first at an inn. It is explained one of the goals of Jimo's family coming to the city is to assess whether there is still a mining operation in the city. They then take Ryoma to the church to register him as a resident. As Ryoma proceeds with the registration, his soul suddenly goes to the realm of the gods, and he reunites with the gods. They then take the chance to talk to each other. Gain explains that he is the creator of the slimes, but Ryoma manages to keep the slimes evolving into new forms, and explains that the ancestor of the Jimil family is also a reincarnated. That's why every member of Jimil's family has received blessings from each god, and Eli is a family member who has the strongest bloodline. The god also tells him that the god of war, the god of magic, and the god of craft started to show interest after practicing Ryoma's way of life, and after telling him all of this, Ryoma returns to the real world. After completing the registration and seeing great Ryoma's abilities at his age, the Jimil family advises him to join a guild to prevent people from trying to take advantage of his strengths. But a new problem has appeared where the Tamer guild, which generally plays the role of taming strong monsters, makes Ryoma, who is only a slime tamer, does not meet the requirements to join. As an alternative, Rienbach advises Ryoma to join the Adventurer Guild instead. First of all, Ryoma has to undergo a feasibility test. However, it is not a problem for him who has been hunting in the forest. It doesn't stop there. The test continues where Ryoma is required to be able to shoot accurately at a moving target. Here, he surprises everyone because he is able to shoot all 4 arrows at once accurately, and is even aware of the follow-up attacks carried out by the examiner. As a result, Ryoma passed the test and is now a member of the Adventurers Guild as rank G, lowest rank. His first quest is to clean up Muya, the cat girl's house. Because her house is next to the trash disposal, it makes her house smell unpleasant. The situation is getting worse when the wall of the garbage disposal is broken so that the garbage gets into Mia's house. The first step Ryoma takes to overcome this problem is to use the scavenger slime, which he used to eat all the trash. Ryoma then proceeds to clean the place with the cleaner slime. He even repairs the damaged wall thanks to the help of the sticky slime. Finally, it doesn't take long for Ryoma's first mission to be completed perfectly. Upon his return to the guild, Ryoma receives rewards and bonuses for his work, and the club master who heard Ryoma's work immediately gives him a new quest to clean the public toilet channels. It is explained that because of a lack of funds, the government cut the city's cleaning budget, which is why the city's cleaning workers went on strike, and Ryoma happily accepted the quest. Long story short, after returning to Ryoma's inn, he discusses the problem with Reinhardt, who might be able to help, and they conclude that there have been embezzlement of funds. Reinhardt then sends his servant to investigate this matter further. The next day, Ryoma starts his work, cleaning one channel first, where in total there are 30 channels there. Just like in the previous quest, Ryoma again uses the scavenger slime to eat all the dirt, and then neutralizes it with magic. Now it looks like the slime is splitting itself after eating a lot of dirt, but Ryoma then notices that the dirt contains poison or miasma, which is quite strong. As a result, Ryoma returns to the guild and meets with Reinhardt and the family there. Ryoma then reports his findings in the hope that the guild could help secure the place. The Reinhardt family is worried about Ryoma's safety, but Ryoma tries to assure them that he would be fine and shows them his status, which has immunity to poison. Finally, with a feeling of anxiety, Reinhardt's family allows Ryoma to get going. That afternoon, he returns to the sewers accompanied by several adventurers named Jeff, Asagi Lipin, Wilana Melisa, Silla, and Mia, who are in charge of securing the location. Because there are many more slimes, it causes a big slime to evolve into a king slime, which makes the cleaning process even faster. But still, the number of channels is not small, and it takes a couple of days until it is completely finished. While walking home tiredly, Ryoma slightly recalls his former life, when he came home almost every day in the morning, but he stayed in his work because there was still his mother who faithfully welcomed him home. But one day his mother had to die and gave Ryoma a very deep wound. However, without Ryoma realizing it, now he has a new family who immediately welcomes his return. Ryoma walks into the Reinhardt residence and is shocked that every member of the Jamil household was waiting for him. The moment brings a bout of nostalgia and sends the young boy to tears. The scene moves to Ryoma and Eli and her mother, where in the open place Ryoma will teach Eli to use magic. Ryoma starts teaching Eli practicing magic in the form of fireworks, then continued with making bubbles that are manipulated in the form of fish. After Ryoma shows her how to use it, Eli tries to use the magic herself. Ryoma also learns attack magic spells from Camel. Camel teaches him several magic spells such as fire arrows, water shot, wind hammer, stun arrow, and ice arrow, as well as various kinds of defense magic. Because of the blessings from the gods, Ryoma can master the spells easily. After that, the butler teaches Ryoma a space magic called Dimension Home to be able to save living things. This time Ryoma gets a hard time until it is late afternoon before he fully masters the magic. The next day, Ryoma and Jimel's family are seen hunting for mines to give fighting experience to Eli. When they get there, Eli and Ryoma and the guards begin to go in to hunt the monsters. It doesn't take long for them to be greeted by a praying mantis monster, which causes a bit of tension, but in the end, it is defeated by Eli. Now it's Ryoma's turn to fight 4 monsters at once. It is seen Ryoma without hesitation immediately attacks them from close range, and with his agility, he manages to beat the monsters easily. Right after the fight is over, a silver metallic slime appears which is none other than a metal slime. Eli immediately casts a spell to prevent it to run away and captures the slime. Eli then gives the slime to Ryoma. Different from ordinary slime, metal slime is quite heavy and only consumes metal as its food. Ryoma happens to be in an iron mine. He then tries alchemy magic to start extracting the iron content from the sand, and sure enough, with one trial, Ryoma manages to make an iron lump. Remembering Ryoma's skills, who are adept at discovering new inventions, Reinbach then introduces him to a merchant named Serge. After witnessing Ryoma's abilities in person, without further ado, Serge immediately agrees to sell Ryoma's creations. Here, the Jamil family gives the profits from its sale to Ryoma, and this is where Ryoma's first steps as an entrepreneur begin. The next day, Ryoma was seen still doing experiments on metal slime, starting from testing his reaction to poison, sticky liquid, and acid, and now it is known that metal slime is afraid of acid. Not long after, Mia and her party appear, who come to invite Ryoma to hunt down monsters. When they arrive at the hunting ground, there are already many adventurers and the guild leader, who explains that they will exterminate the 3 monsters, namely the cave mantis, the cave bat, and the small cave rat. Ryoma's group consists of Jeff, Mia, Wilana, Melisa, and Silla. The group can easily defeat several monsters there. Wilana and Ryoma then notice that there are thousands of bat monsters waiting for them right in front of them. Instead of having to attack one by one, Ryoma uses the latest magic called Sound Bomb, where the magic can emit high waves and frequencies that make the bats die immediately. After that, Ryoma gives the dead bats to his slimes to eat. But when they are about to rest, the guild leader announces bad news that there is a party that is injured by the goblin attack, and it is predicted that the number of goblins would reach more than 500 goblins. It is then made their top priority now to exterminate the goblins. Initially, Mia, accompanied by Cilia, deliberately goes into the cave to lure the goblins out, and when they reach the planned point, it turns out they are digging the ground and filling it with an acidic liquid. As a result, some of the goblins that are trapped inside are immediately melted on the spot. Meanwhile, the rest of the adventurers confront the goblins head-on. but because of the endless goblins that coming at them, they are quite overwhelmed, and it results in more injured victims. Ryoma then joins the fight. He immediately puts a shield on the other adventurers and uses a sound bomb spell. Meanwhile, the slimes fight the remaining goblins. Here, we are shown a fight between the monsters. But after the goblins are defeated, a giant goblin and his minions appear. The details of the battle between Ryoma and the goblin leader are not explained, but Ryoma and his group are shown dirty. Then he uses cleaner slime to clean their bodies and immediately surprises Jeff's group. It doesn't stop there. When he arrives outside, Ryoma is greeted like a hero. Thanks to the healing slime, there are no casualties in the attack. It makes Ryoma very happy as he can help many people. Long story short, when he returns to the inn, Ryoma tells the Jumno family about their monster extermination and decides to part with the Jumno family, where he thinks he feels too dependent and comfortable, and he would not be able to develop anymore. Jumno's family sides with Ryoma's decision and asks about Ryoma's plans. It turns out that thanks to Mia's words, he has an inspiration, and by using cleaner slime, he intends to open a laundry service. The idea is supported by the maids, and eventually, Jumno's family respects Ryoma's decision and allows him to leave on several conditions. First, he has to frequently update them. Second, Ryoma has to take care of the mines in the city. And last, Ryoma has to stay with them at the inn until the Grell frog season arrives. Grell frogs are frog monsters whose shells and organs can be used. However, their main goal is to catch the lemur birds which show up at the Grell frog season. The next day, Ryoma, accompanied by Eli, goes to meet Serge to consult about his laundry business. The merchant is quite surprised at Ryoma's idea of using monsters as a business area. They immediately head out to the trade guild to register Ryoma as a requirement for opening a new business. The guild leader named Glycilla is also interested in the idea, and she immediately agrees to Ryoma's registration and gives him a place to start his business. It can be seen that the place offered is, even though it is damaged, it has a strategic position where it is close to the residential area. Ryoma agrees to choose that place. First of all, he uses the scavenger slime to eat all the weeds, and it is continued by acid slimes which are in charge of moving the foundation. And Ryoma himself uses magic to create blocks and cement the ground, while the other slimes will work together to do the rest. Thanks to Ryoma's good correlation, he also receives help from the knights, as well as the adventurers. As a result, in a day the construction of the shop is completed. As a form of gratitude, Ryoma will hold a party and invite everyone who has helped him. He also takes time to go to the church to greet the gods, but it is seen that only Kufo is there by himself because Gain went to the human world to watch a concert, while Lulucia went to buy snacks. The first person to attend is Serge, along with two brothers and sister who are starting today, will be working for Ryoma named Carla and her younger brother named Callum. Ryoma then explains how his laundry service works, about the prices, and he even demonstrates how the slime does its job, starting from washing, ironing, and folding clothes. It is seen that everything is done by the slime. After that, Ryoma takes them to the dormitory for the employees. Soon, other guests come, and Ryoma welcomes and serves them with various dishes. It is seen that all the guests seem to enjoy the party, especially Mia and Jeff. The next day, the long-awaited opening day finally comes. Ryoma thinks that the first day would not be too crowded, and he goes to the guild to promote his business and look for a side job. However, he is surprised to find there are already many customers in front of the store. He immediately focuses on serving the customers until he notices that his two employees do not have time to rest. As a result, Ryoma immediately goes to the trade guild and asks Glycilla for additional employees. It doesn't take long. On the second day, Ryoma finds that his store is getting crowded, and he rushes back to Glycilla's place to recruit new employees. However, because Ryoma is still a child, it causes doubts for the suitors, which then makes them leave one by one until only two people named Fee and his daughter Ling are left. Even though he knows Faye has an injury on his leg, Ryoma accepts the man for work without hesitation. Ryoma even offers a salary and a place to live, which of course was immediately agreed by the two of them. But somehow Ryoma also realizes that they are former assassins. But that is not a problem for Ryoma. Instead, they are assigned to be the guards at the store at the same time. Long story short, after getting acquainted with Callum and Carla, they immediately work with Fee, who is assigned as a servant, and Ling, who is assigned to collect the clothes. When the shop is closed, Ryoma uses his heal slime to heal Thie's broken leg. It can be seen that Thie's legs are now back to normal, which makes him thank Ryoma. The good news continues to lead to Ryoma, where after calculating the day's income, they find they get a bigger profit than yesterday. Seeing that his business is progressing, Ryoma returns to Glycella's place to ask him to find some new employees, where this time he also asks a chef to improve the welfare of his employees. The next morning, 3 girls named Fina, Maria, and Jane and a chef named Selma appear in front of the store. They are the new employees that will work at Ryoma's store. As a result, as the workforce increases, the performance of Ryoma's laundry business is now growing, and so are the profits that continue to increase.
開店して1週間喜んでくれているし、みんなよく働いてくれ。シェルマさんの料理はとても美味しくて、こうして店の壁を洗った。もう僕がずっと店に一人で暮らしていく。龍馬さんなら。
The scene switches to Ryoma and Eli who are in the mine. As it is told before, because Grell Frog's season is coming soon, Serge asked Ryoma to increase the production of his raincoats because he felt that he would get a big profit. Therefore, so that nothing would disturb his work, Ryoma deliberately goes to the mine, which is a quiet place. Meanwhile, Eli practices the violin because it turns out the beautiful melodies or music is needed to catch the lemur birds. While waiting for the clothes to dry, Ryoma spends his time training his slimes and competing with scavenger slimes. But at the same time, the slime that he deliberately feeds iron ore suddenly evolves into an iron slime. The scene switches to the laundry. Seeing that his business is running smoothly even without his presence, Ryoma goes to the guild to complete several quests. But he is informed by the employer that there is a party that managed to get a rare slime. But because they're just slimes, they can't sell those monsters at high prices. Ryoma, who heard this, immediately becomes interested. Ryoma heads to a tavern where the party is gathering. They look lethargic because they couldn't sell the rare slime, and Ryoma then introduces himself that he is a researcher who wants to buy their slime at a high price. Ryoma looks at the slime and realizes that it is different from what he has so far. The slime is blood red, and without further ado, he immediately buys the slime. First of all, Ryoma returns to the mine and then forms a contract with the slime, and now he can identify if the slime is a type of bloody slime or a slime that consumes blood as its food. Even the slime can also get through the gap in the wound and instantly suck the blood of its prey until it is dry. A few days later, it seems that Ryoma and Eli will practice taming magic. It is different from familiar magic, which makes a magic bond with the target monster and borrows its strength. Taming magic prioritizes relationships with monsters so that a relationship is created to make them share information. Simply put, Ryoma, who forms a contract with a dove, will allow him to share virtually with the bird. At first, the vision perhaps will feel strange, but because he remembers he played VR games before, it doesn't take long for him to get used to it. Long story short, the Grell Frog season finally comes. They arrive at the lake and Mia's group is already there to catch Grell Frogs. There is also an adventurer who is trying to form a contract with the lemur birds. However, because the music is not attractive at all, he is being attacked instead so that Ryoma and Camel quickly help the man. Suddenly, a high-frequency sound wave appears which instantly hurts their ears except for Ryoma, who has mental attack resistance. It turns out that the attack is caused by the leader of the lemur birds, which is suddenly silenced by Ryoma with his magic. But due to the commotion, all the lemur birds fly away. Do not want to go home empty-handed, they decide to wait there. Until late in the afternoon, the birds do not return. With sad feelings, Eli suddenly discusses their imminent separation, and Ryoma, who cannot bear to see such situations, feels confused about how to respond. However, Hughes manages to break the tension by suggesting Ryoma give her a farewell kiss, and Reinhardt is pissed off to see that. At the same time, the birds suddenly return. Eli immediately plays her violin to lure them. The birds and the adventurers there are amazed to hear the chants from Eli. As a result, it doesn't take long for her to get 9 lemur birds at once, and among all of them, there is an advanced lemur bird called the Phantom Lemur Bird. Ryoma also decides to give it a try. He takes out a guitar, which is a musical instrument that has never been seen there. Finally, the lemur birds and the people are impressed to hear a new melody for them. Due to his beautiful play, Ryoma gets 6 birds. One of them is the leader of the flock, called the Nightmare Lemur Bird. In the evening, a big party is held to celebrate Eli's success, and at the same time, a farewell party for Ryoma. While some people are busy outside, Eli gives Ryoma a gemstone as a form of memento. Initially, Ryoma refuses, but because she insists, Ryoma finally accepts the gift and Ryoma gives his 2 slimes to Eli. The scene shifts to Ryoma, who feels blue. With teary eyes, he sends off the Jumonil family, but he tries to be strong by smiling at them. And the anime ends here. Thank you to keep watching the content from this channel. Remember to like and subscribe to keep you updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.